We are here. This is not Telemundo. This is our market update.
What? It's not Telemundo?
I see. No.
Muy guapo.
Oh, wow. That's some great Spanish right there.
Great Spanish. I'm just going to tell you because I'm getting ready to I think I'm going to start learning Portuguese at the same time. Yeah. Because I hear it so much. I figured I might as well learn Portuguese and Spanish. So I think I'm going to try and attempt both languages simultaneously.
Well, if you learn it, we can try to do the first part of this, our next episode when you learn it. That'd be pretty good.
I think that sounds like a terrible implosion.
All right, let's get into it. Someone brought this up to me earlier today. How does war affect basically interest rates?
Ooh, so that, you know what? I've only been asked that probably now 20 times with what's been going on. Yeah, because everyone asks. So the answer is not as simple and concise as one would think, but basically the way it boils down to is, unfortunately, when war happens, it activates a lot of 5 major companies, which are the 5 giant defense contractors, that then have to produce materials that then go into the war machine. Those 5 big defensive contractors subcontract to lots of smaller other contractors. So you have a trickle-down effect of everything across the board. And as you can see right there, look at that. Rates have already come down from before, from the start of this. You can look at it, see it's in effect. And do I think this is going to go to a much bigger escalation of war? No, I do not, because I think the people over there in Iran want to preserve their power. And at this point, if they go any harder, it's pretty much a death wish for all of them. But the way that war affects everything is you have a lot more things going to marketing as far as steel and munitions. Now you have chips, you have software, you have bullets, you have protective armor, you have gear, you have everything under the sun that has to be ramped up. That ramped up manufacturing means a lot more business going on. And then at the same time, when war goes on, psychologically, people look at that and go, oh my God, the sky is falling. And they stop doing everything. So when they stop doing everything, the only way to increase them doing things is that the Fed lowers rates. So typically when you enter into war, you have the war aspect of making things and the psychological aspect of lowering rates so people buy things. And that's what comes into play. And I don't think we're seeing that right now. I think more what we're seeing is the news that came out about the Federal Reserve. The current administration is thinking about lowering the capital requirements for banks. When you lower the capital requirements for banks and lending institutions, they can lend more of the money that they were keeping in reserves, which pushes rates down. And that news came out yesterday. It came out again today. Do I think that's a good idea? No, I don't personally, because I've lived through a couple markets. You have as well. If you lower capital requirements in banks, which capital requirements means the amount of millions of dollars they keep in the bank insured against the money you put in the bank, and then that's also held against FDIC insurance. So I don't think it's a good idea they lower capital requirements, because if you think back a long time ago when we had the run on the banks during 2008, 2010, and bank after bank kept folding because they had no reserves, I don't think it's a good idea to lower all those capital requirements. So I don't agree with that. I think that's a bad idea, but it looks like it's going to probably go through. And the benefit of that is you will see lower interest rates, along with your question of how war affects interest rates as well.
So we could be, and I mean, I'm taking a little bit of it. If rates go down, we did see, and I'll bring that back up, we've seen little drops so far this year with the rates getting to where they are now. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, in March, it looks like, I think we were there. So we've had little drops to where we are now. But we could be for people out there that are looking to purchase in this sweet spot where rates are going down. Sellers are more open to closing cost credits. Sellers are open to longer escrows, right? And this could be the great opportunity to purchase, right? Because you have lower rates, you can get a grant program. We've talked about already, the Hopper FHA program. We're $15,000 for your down payment. I mean, you're talking about closing costs. There's this window of time. Now, what usually happens if you watch this long enough, usually it takes a little bit of time after we start talking about things where it starts going to kind of almost mainstream, right? So if rates do go down farther down, right? People are going to start talking about, lenders are going to start talking about it. People are going to go, oh, maybe I start looking to purchase. And we start seeing the effects of it usually a week or two later on. Also, the Fed is meeting end of next month, end of July. So whatever, if people are looking at lower unemployment numbers, correct me if I'm wrong, that we'll see the effects of that middle of July, right? So if we get past July, we get closer to middle July, we could be talking about even lower rates than we sit right now.
So the interesting part, since you mentioned that, let me take a look.
I think it's 28th, right? Like that, 27th?
33 more days.
Yeah, okay.
So let's take a look here really quick. So, before, if you've been watching us, I'm still going to stick to, I think rates are going to be lower October, November. And prior to that, all of the odds of a rate cuts coming before that were like 99% no. But with the events that have just been going on right now, if you look at Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the probabilities for July and the Fed cut, they're now at instead of 99% no, they're at 79% no. So I think you may end up getting a 25 basis point cut in July, which I could totally be wrong here because it is a very long shot, full disclosure. But look at stranger things have happened. And all of a sudden it's like GDP for the first quarter was already finally revised. It actually ended up being 0.5% negative, so that's, not terrible, not good either at the same time. But I think, the markets overall, when you try to look at housing is slowing, jobs are slowing, everything is slowing. And you're not at 2% rate of inflation, but you're pretty close. I think you're like 2.3, 2.4. So I don't, a 25 basis point is not going to cause inflation to spike up, but 25 basis points is going to spur the economy because, mentally speaking, it's not going to make every rate go down a massive amount, but it's a little bit of a boost for people to go, oh, we're getting a little bit of a break. Oh, car loans are a little bit cheaper. Oh, this is a little bit cheaper. Oh, I feel better about this.
It could push that one buyer over the edge. Hey, now we're at the lowest rates have been in the last, 12 months, right? Something like that.
I mean, and that may happen. That may happen,
So, and this is something, if you watched last time we were on here, David his guess was by the end of the year, we'll get to 75 active properties on the market.
7,500.
7,500. I said we would get to about 7,000, right?
Where are we at?
We're at 6,180 right now. We were at 6,050 2 weeks ago. Again, we start the inventory starts trickling downwards, usually around August, September. So we got a little bit of time for, that July. July's gonna be the big month to see how much inventory we really can get to, I think. So this next month I think it's gonna be a big month for basically the real estate market, for rates and everything in San Diego.
I think if you get a 25 basis point cut in July, I think more people will list their houses.
Yeah.
Because that will spur more buyers.
Yeah. Well, we try to keep it short and sweet. If you have particular questions that you want us to talk about, please reach out to us. We're always here to provide some insight into the San Diego real estate market. There's David's number, my number, comment below. Appreciate it, guys. Have a great one.
Boom. Thank you.